He may not have heard you. We've got signal. I can see him moving.
Well, real quick, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and do our little commercial since we got a lot of people on here. Let it play. If you don't mind muting for a second, let this play out.
This is not about Republican or Democrat. This is an issue of the rule of law. And I'm Sheriff.
Hello, founder of True the Vote. Our mission at True the Vote is to restore America's confidence in our electoral process through the power of citizen engagement.
Okay.
And I'm Sheriff Mark.
All right. I need everybody to mute, please. Let's see here. Who's not muted? Who's not muted? Juniper's not muted. Cat's not muted. And that one's not muted there. Now we'll try it again.
Hello, Catherine Engelbrecht, founder of True the Vote. Our mission at True the Vote is to restore America's confidence in our electoral process through the power of citizen engagement.
And I'm Sheriff Mark Lamb with Protect America Now, an organization dedicated to supporting sheriffs around the country to serve and protect our citizens.
Today, we are announcing a partnership between our two organizations as we launch ProtectAmerica.vote, a national effort to educate citizens, equip sheriffs, and protect our elections.
Our vote is a sacred privilege. It's our opportunity to voice our opinion to our government. That's why we're kicking off this effort today, bringing citizens and sheriffs together around the country to help preserve our vote and that our voice be heard loud and clear.
You know, Sheriff Lamb, so many voters are just confused about the ever-changing election rules, and they're downright angry about the lack of accountability when those election processes break down.
It's a problem we can solve. We will engage voters, we'll help clear up confusion through education, and where necessary, sheriffs can and will investigate if laws are being broken.
And that's exactly what we need. All of us, informed and equipped. Citizens ready to vote, and sheriffs ready to enforce the law.
Look, folks, this is not complicated. These voting laws should be followed, and if they're not, there should be consequences. This is not about Republican or Democrat. This is an issue of the rule of law.
So how can you help? Please go to protectamerica.vote to sign up, connect with your local sheriff, and if you're so inclined, donate to show your support for election integrity. Contributions will be used to help place public service ads on radio, TV, online, all over the country, and to give local sheriffs the resources they need to help.
And remember, regardless of your party, we all love this country, and there's nothing more important than defending your vote. Let's do this.
All right. Let's see, ceiling fan. Yes, we've heard of the de jure sheriffs. At least I have. I know. Juniper and Texas Girl has. Let's see here. I think everybody is still muted. No. There's Juniper off. All right. So how's Miss Weathercat doing tonight?
Pretty good. We had a big shindig here on the ranch, so I had to hide away because I'm not allowed to be out amongst them. So spent most of the day in the house, but watched Grey Wolf this morning, gave him all the weather reports. Looks like he got some good rain too, which is great. Luckily, it was after he walked. But I'm doing
All
pretty
right.
good.
It's good to hear. So how long are you staying up there, Golden?
I got no idea. I'm making dinner right now. I got
What's for
tacos,
tacos?
campfire tacos. So
And the
you
bears
were
are in the woods, and the bears are in the woods going, tacos.
no, they know to stay away though. I make the fire go all day long to keep them away. I think they get the point. You know, I'm saying stay away, stay away. They got a fire going. They don't come anywhere near here. There's a couple other tents going on. You know, I'm laying claim over the bears. So the video was about the sheriff, what they can do to uphold the law.
Protect the vote.
To me,
It's basically protectamerica.vote is what it's about, and it's about the sheriffs investigating any corruption going on with the votes or any fraud or anything like that people report. Actually, it goes a little bit deeper. It kind of goes back into the whole, 2000 ILM thing. They can literally go back and scrape geolocation data for geofencing of everybody for the last 4 years that's even been near a freaking ballot box or anywhere, It's pretty crazy.
Well, I was earlier. I put up the first episode of my new podcast, the Healing Law Podcast, and I was talking about how corporations are creatures of the state and they're subject to the jurisdiction of the government. And it's a big conversation. And somebody said, "Well, where do the sheriffs come into this?" Well, courtroom, we can direct the sheriffs to act on our behalf when we know the legal protocols. So we can get a court order that says sheriff must carry out this order here. When we get a court order, it's the sheriff of that county that carries it out. People have forgotten how to use the courts, and that's you. So if you could prove fraud, or if that's your goal in your town, and you say, "Hey, I think this is a fraudulent thing," well, you have cause to act, and you can make it happen. You can get a court order directing the sheriff yourself that he takes that action. Now,
Well, actually, what we're looking at here is the standpoint that the sheriff is the highest elected official in every state, or not in the state, but in every county. And the federal government, actually has to have the sheriff's permission in order to operate within even the cities, the little court, the municipal courts, and all that stuff. They have to have his permission to operate in his county, and because that's just the way it works. And what we have to do is get these constitutional sheriffs back in that's protecting the Constitution and the people standing behind those constitutional sheriffs to basically run the Fed completely out of our damn. I think I'm having a connection issue there. All right, can y'all see me? All right. So, it was basically the standpoint in each one of our counties, our state.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
We lost the host.
I heard him up
Oh, we're
until
losing
the very last second there.
It's all
Yeah,
good.
we heard
G
him for a little bit.
will put him back in.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Did I drop?
Yeah.
Yes.
My biggest thing is we got to get. Oh, you're back. You're back. So we lost the very last
Yeah.
part. I heard you most of the way through.
You there?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, we didn't catch the tail
okay.
end of what you said.
Yep.
Oh, what I was saying is, in order to get these sheriffs, I mean, we don't need all these other law enforcement agencies and everything else, to be quite honest with you. I mean, the sheriff should be able to handle the job himself. I mean, we're allowing like these police chiefs and all this other crap. It's just too much, to be quite honest with you. I mean, the sheriff runs the jail. The sheriff still comes out and arrests. You know, I mean,
Well, the sheriffs are the only ones that are sworn to uphold the Constitution as well.
exactly.
And that's the important part that people don't understand. That is the only department that they swear to uphold the Constitution. That's why we have to count on our sheriffs to uphold the Constitution. So if the federal government, they can get all these other municipalities to work with them because they're not sworn to uphold the Constitution, and they will go ahead and do that. But sheriffs are sworn to uphold the Constitution. And then the other problem that they've been doing lately, especially in the last like 2.5 years with COVID, is going, hey, we're gonna give you this money on these conditions, and then you have to follow those conditions to get the money. And they're doing that in the educational system, they're doing that in the police municipalities, they're doing that in the cities, they're doing that in the towns. And so if you take that federal money with those strings, then you have to follow that federal agenda, whether you agree with it or not, because you took the money.
Yeah. Well, and that's how they get their tentacles in, is by that
Yeah.
government's money. It's our money. Be working for us, regardless.
But how does the government derive its just powers? We go back to the Declaration of Independence on this one. You were about to hit it. I don't know if you finished
consent
it
of
and
the
it didn't come
governed.
through. Yeah,
Well,
the consent of the governed.
yeah.
Right.
And the state.
At every moment. And we can't ever be like, oh man, in this moment they took advantage of us. In this moment, blah, blah, blah. No, it's always through the consent of the governed. It is always through the consent.
Well, and that's the thing too.
I challenge any one of you on this. You choose to shop where you go. You choose to live in the place you live. And when we really whittle this down, the government lives, unless we allow it.
Well,
and that becomes an issue between our creator and us.
exactly.
Now, as it gives us our rights. And we give the government its authority. At no point does the government switch that or come over us unless where our rights come from. And it's that simple. It is literally that simple.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. You're right. That's what I try to tell everybody all the time, because everybody's always talking about my constitutional rights, my constitutional rights. You don't have no fucking constitutional rights. There's no. It's your rights to not a piece of paper, not a bunch of people in robes and crowns and everything else. It's literally from your And that's
No,
where people need to stand
if you
is
allow
that,
yourself
not
to mentally
a
think
piece of
that
paper.
it's
That piece
comes
of
from
paper
them,
was
then they
put
take it
there.
away.
Do what?
I said if you mentally allow yourself to think it comes from a piece of paper or the government or anyone else, then they can take that away from you. Period.
Exactly.
So,
And that's one of the things that I've been saying for a long time. When you watch somebody getting stuffed in the back of a cop car and the cop is standing there grinning while you're saying this is against my constitution, they know. They know that part of it's a joke.
Yeah, it is.
Hey, y'all still
Lose them
there?
again? There you
No,
are.
I'm here.
Yep.
I just said what I had to say. Wait for somebody else rebuttal.
And once we begin, Juniper, you want to hit this one? Juniper looks like he wants to hit it. What
No,
you
got it,
guys say?
Gold.
He's all right. That's what I'm saying. Once we realize that it's the consent of the governed, we can direct the sheriffs to do our bidding, to control the government.
The
Well,
sheriff
it's
is
like I'm
the
saying.
highest.
Go ahead. Go ahead,
Sorry.
Jennifer.
The sheriff is the highest in the land. Period. Hands down. Nobody that has more power than a sheriff.
In the land, yeah.
They answer in the land. Make sure you have that in the land. They answer to no one people. Period. That is it. They have no boss but us.
Exactly. And that's the reason why I think that's the reason why we need that little video for maybe a group of people to walk in their sheriff's office with that little video, play it for them, say, "Are you on board with this?" See, test them, see where they stand. Are they going to start standing with the people, or are they going to start? All this going to Washington is fine. Everybody's calling for all these arrests and everything of all the corruption and everything. Well, who do you think is going to be the one that could actually do the arrest? The sheriffs, right? Who's going to investigate the crimes? The sheriffs. So in order to get this stuff done, we need to go to our sheriffs, make sure they're constitutional sheriffs, and start acting as if they're protecting the Constitution and working for us. I mean, this is where, the rubber meets the road.
Your sheriff is not constitutional, then you go to bondsforthewin.com and you get their fucking surety bond pulled and they are removed.
Yep.
It puts them on notice. They have to respond, tell them to do. If they do not do it, then they are done.
Both points, either going to bond or the sheriff route, hit to the whole life is about healinglaw.com. We need to get back in the courts, representing ourselves as the people and what law stands for within us, because the spokesman of the law.
You're right.
And through
Golden,
us,
but
that
the
rolls
courts
out,
are a
whether it's
sham.
through surety bonds, the sheriffs.
But Golden, the
They
court
can correct them by going into them in mass.
They're a corporation. But they're Golden. The courts are a corporation. Corrupt. So how do we win in a corrupt court? If they're flying gold around the flag, it is a corporation, which makes it part of the corporation. Where are you going to find of the land?
Happy Lady 77. Yeah, I'll just send the email to that GWT with the 53s at gmail.com. I appreciate it. I'll watch it.
Just because it's a corporation doesn't mean that we can't utilize it to our benefit. It is a dead entity. It is a fictitious organism. But we can still use it because we are not fictitious.
I
So we can
understand
direct.
that, but they go by the law of the sea, not the law of the land.
No. Who is they? I mean, they is a fictitious creature that we can control when we can command ourselves. The moment we control ourselves, we can control that organism. It doesn't matter whether it's land or sea. We are both. I have blood
Well,
and
maybe-
I have carbon.
I get
I have the earth. I have the sea.
if you're that means you're from the land. Well, you're not from the sea, because if you're from the sea, you're nothing more than you should understand that, right?
Well, what they're going by is the law of the sea and maritime law and all that stuff. I mean, I understand that. I that is that golden fish flag. It's the Jolly Roger. You know, it's a seized flag, and it's been encased. You know, put into a cell. I mean, that's what it's all about. And I mean, it's time for that stuff to end. And you know, the best route, the best tool I think right now we have to get in that aspect is just that one video. Walk in there and pull it down in front of your sheriff and say, "Are you in agreement with doing this? You know, are you on board with this?" I mean, if you don't know what else to say, and then you just remind them, you know, hey, you know, election time's coming up here pretty soon, and if you're not going to be a part of this, then maybe we need to find somebody else that will be, you know, and then do what you said, go after their surety bond if they're not uh, abiding by the Constitution, their oath to the Constitution. I mean, this shit's got to get nipped in the bud, you know, and that's where it starts. And until we have the law on our side, you know, I just feel like we're kind of pissing in the wind.
Well, we're definitely making ruffling some feathers. And that's a good. Golden's point of view, I agree with 99% of what he's saying. I don't agree with the court system because they are still fake, whatever it may be.
Well, they're under the bar is the problem, and that's the whole deal. The judge, the lawyers, all of them, they're all under the same bar. But I think what
y'all are casting a system. Y'all are immediately casting the system into some paradigm that doesn't exist. We breathe life in and out of us. Corporations do not. We have the divine spark from our Creator, and we direct these beasts, these corporations. I don't care if it's a corporation or a courtroom. We direct them. I am not going to be to some courtroom at this point. We're all born under the law, and then we become reborn under the Most High God. And it's a process we all go through. We're born of the flesh, of the elements, and then we overcome. And when we overcome, we direct these entities with our own force, with our own not with our own force. That was a misspeak. By recognizing the divine force flows through us, and we can direct them through that. They don't have any life without breath, without our existence. They have nothing. They are not. it's words on paper. We believe and manifest what they say. And this goes to the sheriffs. The sheriff is the most powerful law in the land because who enacts court hearings? Who enacts the court ruling? When a court says this is to be done, it's the sheriff who pulls it off. The courts are ours to govern. It's more powerful than voting. It's our place of representation. And we need to direct them.
That's awesome. Are you an attorney by chance?
Absolutely not. No, absolutely not.
Oh, okay.
I've been
Just curious. My wife is.
times.
Okay. I'm just curious. My wife's an attorney. So I just wanted to see you were.
Alphonse Fagiolo. Alphonse Fagiolo on Telegram.
Yes.
I don't know if you haven't, Jennifer. You have?
Yeah, I've looked. I've seen him. My point being, though, is if we participate in a corporate court, then we are given consent. Once you give consent, then they can govern you.
Do you vote?
No matter what, if we do, you know, if we go and we put everything forth, but we've given consent immediately.
And unless we seize the reins of the horse, right? The courtroom is a horse. What if we seize the reins?
Yeah, well, that's the same thing with the federal government and state government and city government. I mean, there's a lot of horses to be reined in, and I think GW's got a good point where we start with the sheriffs because really is our biggest ally.
But we ourselves are our biggest ally. We can direct the sheriff through the court.
Well,
so you're saying the sheriff is so powerful,
direct them.
We can direct them.
In an elective office, they are taking power out of your hands or out of my hands. I'm just saying, as an elected official, that's two. That's all. I mean, if we're so
because a judge is not an elected official. A judge is an appointed.
Except for appellate court.
Yeah, it depends on the jurisdiction.
Appellate courts are elected. Yeah. Appellate, they're elected.
But I can understand what he's saying because there's certain ways that you can go into a courtroom and be in control because see, the court does not want to deal with a natural man. They can't. For the simple fact of the business, they don't have that jurisdiction because they are operating in the law of the sea. I mean, all of it, when you look at the reality of all of it, basically all a court is that basically if you look at the standpoint of like going to the Catholic Church, you got someone in a black robe that goes into a little closet, you confess your sins, and then he dials out your little punishment that you got to do. Go say 5 Hail Marys and whatever, It's the same thing. You go into the court, confess your sins, and then you're sentenced to whatever punishment you get, by somebody in a black robe. It's basically almost the same thing, But it's a standpoint that when you know what your standing is, you can stand in a courtroom and wield that court. And if that judge gets up and walks off the bench, then that's called that the captain has abandoned the ship, you know. There's all kinds of different ways to do it, but it's the words that you use, you know. It's like saying, when they say, "Do you understand?" You say, "No, I do not understand. I do not stand under you."
I listen. I get the Admiralty thing. I that's where I began this whole trek of my journey. So I get the Admiralty law. Do you understand? And this and that. To keep it simple, when I enter a courtroom, I am an equal partner in that relationship. The judge is supposed to keep things in the middle, right? He's supposed to balance the two parties. It's supposed to be a place where I can come against my adversary and have some referee, aka judge, say, you know, okay, this is the rule here. This is the rule here when we disagree. Until those moments, the judge keeps his mouth fucking shut. The judge is not to speak on to our agreements here. It's so me and you, we come, Juniper, I come into a courtroom against you and I say, you know, you did this and this to me. And you say, well, you did this and this to me. And under the law in this jurisdiction, we're here. The judge says if we have a disagreement, he lays the final law. There is no courtroom I enter that I do not command at least 50% of. And it really is about your conviction. And if you don't have conviction when you enter a courtroom, you get convicted. You have to have your standing. You have to know where you are. And you have to have some basic compass in reality. And this is painful for many people to hear. And this is something I've recognized after years and years and years of diving into, with the good fortune of having the internet by my side and being able to research these things. If you are not convicted of your points yourself, you get convicted of someone else's sentence. They will sentence you in a court of law. Therefore, we have to have that life, that creative force within us at every given moment and know where we stand always. And it's not an easy position. It's not a position that somebody has a class for at this point. There's nobody teaching this.
And you know, I'm telling you right now, they don't like it when you walk in there with no fear. I had an instance one time over traffic violations when I was just a kid. I was about 18, 19 years old, and I got a ticket. Well, what happened? The police officer had his bright lights on. It was down here in Rockwall, Texas, and I was going to make a turn to go over the overpass. I was heading home, and I just bought this car a couple days before. It had a plate on it. I bought it at an auto auction, and all of a sudden the cop spins around on me, pulls me over. Well, I had a military driver's license. I didn't have insurance yet, and that it was things I was going to work on getting, right? Well, I was coming home from work, and the officer pulled me over, and this was right when they started that new law about everybody had to have insurance. So he pulls me over, and he's like, well, your plate is the wrong plate for this car. It's a stolen plate. And I was like, well, I don't know how it is. Pulled out the bill of sale. I showed him I had my military license, and he asked me for my insurance, and I haven't got it yet. They said I had 30 days to get insurance. So, anyways, he wrote me a ticket. He wrote me a ticket for no driver's license and no insurance. I called up the place, threw a big fit because they had the bad plate on the car and everything. So they gave me a paper plate. So I went over to go pick up the paper plate because, you know, shit, I live way out in the country. So I drove the car over there, picked up the paper plate, or actually I got a ride over there, picked up the paper plate, went to work, and I was coming a different way. And the same cop passed me going the other direction again, and he turned around pulled me over, asked me for my driver's license and my insurance. And then, since I still didn't have it, he wrote me another ticket for another no license and no insurance. So I've got 2 tickets for no insurance and 2 tickets for no license. So when it came date for the court, well, I had a little bit of time off and everything coming up, and I went to court, and I waited for them to call me. I was like the last person because my last name is Wright. And when I stood before the judge said, "Do you know why you're here?" I said, "Yes, it's because of these 2 citations or these 4 citations, blah, 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 blah." And back then, I think they gave you like $35 a day credit in jail. Okay. So I'd already estimated it up. It's basically what your time served is towards your fine. Anyways, I'd already figured it up and everything, how much it was going to be. And I was looking at about 2 weeks in jail. And I stood there at the judge. I said, "Well, I'm not paying the tickets." So, and I explained the situation. First, he got and I helped. And then he pulled me over and to ask me if I was, which I wasn't. And then I said the second time I was just cruising and he pulled me over for no reason. Well, anyways, he's like, "Well, you have this much in fines, blah, blah, blah." And I said, "I know." I said, I know that y'all give $35 a day credit in jail. I said, "I'll just take the three hots and a cot for the next 2 weeks. Go ahead and sign the warrant, and I'll go downstairs. I'll go wherever and turn myself." And he let me. He goes, "We can't do that." I can't do that. And I was just kind of stunned when he said that. I was like, "What do you mean you can't sign the warrant?" You know? And he says, "Well, I'm not going to do that, or I can't do that." And I said, "Well, I'm telling you right now, I'm not paying these fines. And if I walk out this door, I'm not coming back." And then the little clerk jumped up, and she said, and I remember too, she was a redheaded clerk. She jumped up there, says, "You can't talk to the judge that way." And I looked at her and I said, "I'll talk to the judge any way I want to talk to the judge. I'm not being disrespectful." I said, "If you sign the warrant now to go down there and turn myself in, and I walk out that door, I'm not coming back. And I'm not paying the fine." And explain that.
Because you didn't consent. You stood above them, not under them. They couldn't rule on you because you gave them the.
Hello? Oh, we're all
Can you hear us, GWT?
Pause in silence. There's no way I'm the only one who can be heard.
I think he's frozen up. Again.
Is he back?
I don't know if you can hear us. I see move.
He said he was going to eventually get into a spot where he's not going to get much connection. It's going to kind of go in and out.
Yeah, I
Jennifer,
can
are
see
you
him
there?
moving.
Give us. I see him coming. Let's see, Bottle.
Juniper.
Jennifer, we cook mahi.
June, what was
We get to see the
your
grill earlier.
question? Or your statement?
He didn't get to see the grill earlier. He was wondering what you were cooking.
Oh, okay. I got you. A pork loin roast.
Oh, let's see it. Let's see. Oh, yeah.
Hello?
Are you
There he
there?
is.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Testing.
Yes, we can
All
hear
right.
you.
Can you? Oh, okay. So I guess my whole story just got cut off in the middle somewhere, huh?
We missed the part where you said you just got up and walked out, and they didn't. What the gist was, they didn't come after you, correct?
No, they didn't come after me or nothing. So explain that.
Caught it now, Jennifer. Nice.
Juniper had the answer.
Because
What
you did
was the
not
answer?
stand. The answer is you did.
Like I've had so many charges, a lot to get magically.
Go ahead, Juniper.
I said you did not stand under them. You gave them the terms. The terms. They don't know what to do with that, and they can't do anything with it. Not stand under them. So their only option is to cut you loose.
Huh. Well, like I said, that's been like 30 something years ago, you know.
No, that's right. That's absolutely correct. But then the most high comes in the mix of all that, of course. In ways we will never understand until we do.
Right. Well, I mean, sometimes you just got to stand in yourself and, you know, and stand up and just tell it like it is, you know. I mean, I did it that one time and I was always trying to figure out what in the hell did I do? What in the hell did I do right, you know, or what did I do? And, you know, to listen to some of the stuff today more and more, you know, just, I mean, I gave him an ultimatum, you know, this is the way it's going to be or this, you know, because I'm not coming back. And just crazy how it worked out.
Juniper, is there a core experience you can explain to us that makes you think otherwise?
Can
I
you
feel like there must be
clarify
something.
that?
There must be some experience you've had that makes you think that the courtrooms are under maritime rather than what
Is under maritime law.
we can
That's just
derive.
fact. You want me to cite court cases? I'm not understanding your question, Golden.
I think he's frozen now.
I think he was asking why is it that you think that the courts are under the maritime law bill or scenario?
Because they factually are since 1871. So what?
Well, the reality of it is, anytime you get a document stating that it is the all capital state of Oklahoma or state of Texas against the all capital U, that's all to do with the corporate law, you know, I mean, because that's a corporation dealing with a corporation in that sense, and that's the way they want to see you, is that corporation. And that's the way they think they have that authority over you to sentence you.
Yeah, because you're not a living being to
Or
them.
that's
You're a piece of cargo. They want, and they trade your birth certificate, which is nothing more than for them to trade your stock on the world trade. So, I mean, go to a birthing center. A birthing center, that's where it's a harbor.
You know what I've been wanting to try? You want to know what I've been wanting to try? Is yet making
Whiskey?
like if I ever had to go make some whiskey. No, he's walking in there with a freaking straw man. Literally walking in there with a straw man with a picture of myself and an all capital letter name and say, "Yeah, here he is."
Yep.
Go for it.
Hell yeah.
But
And take
guys,
your
a corporation is.
Yeah, I know. It's a fictitious
We have
entity,
a
a
right
fictitious
to file
person.
a straw man. We have a right to GWT333 is a straw man.
Mm-hmm.
Your name is a straw man allowed to be. I proclaim that I give life to my name because the Most High flows through me. What you say my name is, I give it life. No fictitious piece of paper can say a thing about it.
Yeah,
So,
nobody is
I take it head on. I really do.
No arguing that, Golden. Nobody is arguing that.
That's why I'm saying we can't like this entity. I'm going to take it head on. I will challenge it at every direction because I am the one life.
Yeah.
I am
Well,
the government.
the point being
life
is
because from my
if you if you participate in it, you're part of it.
No,
that's what I'm telling you.
No.
Yeah. Yes.
No. The Most High flows through me, and my lifeblood come Yahuwah Hamashaya, Yahuwah Most High. There's in me comes from. It doesn't. I can control.
I get.
I
don't disagree.
I get that there's a point you could meet me and beat me for sure.
Agree.
And I'd like to hear that because I make strong claims.
No, I mean, no, you are right. There are people that walk into these courtrooms and control and will these courtrooms, but it's just the way that they do it. You have to have that knowledge of how to, I can't remember, be in law or in the law, not outside the law. Is that correct? The correct terminology for it?
Can you repeat what you just said, GWT? It's Texas.
There's a certain way that you can go into the courts, but you have to be, I believe the terminology is in the law, not outside of the law.
So if you take the word lawyers in law or lawyers law, lawyers in law are a sovereign lawyer and they practice law within the Constitution.
Right. That's in the law.
Yes, within the law. Yes.
Right.
And law is you working for, they're technically a squire and they work for the bar, which is the Crown Corporation.
Wait a minute. Are you
Yeah,
talking about a lawyer
with
or
all
an
this-
attorney?
With all this,
Go
What'd
ahead,
you-
Golden.
with all of this, y'all are diving. If it begins to get confusing, you're too deep into man-made nonsense. You know what the truth is. And the truth is self-evident.
Right.
The government
I agree.
derives its
I believe.
authority from what? Oh, Texas. Oh, I'll let you go.
Okay, I absolutely agree with you on that. But here's the thing, is we've been lied to for so many years. The straw man living under maritime law, if you look at every police officer's badge, there is a ship on there that represents maritime law. Okay?
If you look within my soul, which you cannot perceive, the Most High flows through it, and which direction it may blow, which direction it may go. The Most High flows through me, and that cannot be stopped. Symbol they put on a piece of paper, in a badge. I don't care. They could put it in lights on a Google.com.